Good morning. It's Gabby, and we're into September. Can't believe we're almost done with the Gabb, my show that I love, and I get to introduce you to some of my favorite people. And today we are with Tommy Lee, who has, well, I would say two of the best restaurants in town. Actually, it's more than two, but two concepts, I guess. Good morning, Tom.
Morning. Thanks for having me, Gabby.
Well, gosh, I remember, well, but I guess we should start with Hop Alley because that's where you started it, really. Or was Uncle first?
It was the first Uncle in the Highlands.
Oh,
that's when I first met you.
Okay, and it's still there, still mob. So let's stay there. And then we now have Uncle. I'll let you tell it. South Penn.
Yeah, the first restaurant was Uncle up in the Highlands on West 32nd. We opened in 2012 in the summer, and we're a ramen shop. We didn't actually start out that way. We were kind of a Pan-Asian restaurant, and we had ramen on the menu. And the ramen got really popular, so I decided, hey, I think this is what people want from us, so let's just become a ramen shop. So we kind of redid our menu and tweaked it and focused on ramen and small plates, and that's kind of when things took off. And it was great that the neighborhood was very supportive of us. You were very supportive of us. The food community was very supportive of us. So we became very busy, and that led to the second. Well, we're small, so busy is relative. We're only about 50 seats, so it's easy to fill up. But thankfully, we were busy. But that led to the second restaurant, which is Hop Alley. That opened in 2015 over in the Rhino neighborhood, just as that neighborhood started developing. And the idea behind that restaurant was a kind of a quote unquote, authentic modern Chinese restaurant with a wood fire grill and a modern beverage program. We opened in December of 2015, and it's different in Uncle that it's the dishes are served more family style, kind of like a traditional Chinese meal. And the flavors are, regional and can be quite aggressive. There's a lot of spicy things because we love Szechuan food, but we touch on Cantonese cuisine, Hunan, Shanghai. But then we also have, modern touches that, you could may or may not classify as Chinese, but they kind of fall in the flavor profiles that we do.
Well, it's certainly my favorite Chinese restaurant in this area.
It's one of the few Chinese restaurants you can get a quote-unquote authentic meal plus get a nice cocktail or a nice glass of wine. So that's kind of our niche.
While you're talking about Hop Alley, though, quickly, tell the story, because didn't you get the name from the district?
Yes. So I grew up in Denver, and I kind of always wondered why Denver didn't have a Chinatown like, San Francisco or New York. And so I started doing research, and I found out that Denver actually did have a Chinatown back in the 1800s. It was located where currently Lodo is. But there was, the story behind the Chinatown, that it was, obviously immigrants that came to Denver to help build the railroads. And, it kind of became a seedy area where there were opium dens, prostitution, gambling, and a lot of, Americans went there for this kind of exotic experience. And that's how it got the nickname Hop Alley. And, hop was actually a reference to the opium. But upon learning all this and formulating the concept for the restaurant, I thought, Hop Alley was a great name to, bring light to the tradition of Chinatown in Denver and the Chinese, residency here. Unfortunately, I think it was the 1880s, there was a race riot, and Chinatown ended up getting burned down, basically, or parts of it. And then I think in the mid 1900s, they demolished the area for some depth for downtown, the more modern downtown buildings. So that's where the name came from. We're not located in the original Chinatown, but it's a very interesting story. And then,
it's a great story.
well, even to go along with that, the actual building we're in, which I didn't find out till later, is actually an old soy sauce factory owned.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was owned by the family that currently owns Pacific Mercantile,
Oh,
the
wow.
Japanese grocery store downtown.
Yeah.
But I found this out, even after I signed the lease. So it was cool to learn all this backstory about the building.
Okay, well, while we're on Hop Alley, tell us, yes, they are lots of spice and delicious flavors. But talk about a few of your favorite dishes there.
Some of the staples we've had since we opened are we call it the Beijing duck rolls, but it's basically a scallion pancake that is rolled up with, we smoke and confit duck legs and served with cabbage and hoisin sauce and cilantro. So it's kind of that, classic Peking duck flavor profile, but it's a little, a bit of a spin on it. Currently, we have a big ribeye that comes out on a sizzling platter. That's pretty fun. We joke that it's our version of Chili's fajitas, but it's a beautiful ribeye from Buckner Family Farms. They do a great job. I say they because my chef and team, they do most of the cooking, but they do a great job with seasonal vegetables. We work closely with Esoterra Farms. So right now we have actually a not so traditional Chinese dish, but it's based off of melons and cucumbers that are local, that has a green coriander vinaigrette that's really refreshing.
Oh, wow.
A great relief to a lot of the spice. We have some traditional, somewhat traditional red chili pork dumplings. They're just, boiled pork wontons that get doused in a super spicy chili oil and a seasoned soy sauce and peanuts.
How does that sound good? I'm getting hungry.
They're really spicy, but they're super delicious.
Well, the chicken was really spicy too, as I recall.
Yeah, it's not
garlicky. No, it was more garlic.
The fried chicken, the lazi ji, which is a traditional Szechuan dish, which traditionally it looks like it's 90% chilies, and you're digging through to find the chicken. We obviously make chicken the focus, but it exemplifies that spicy, numbing Szechuan profile. It's not the spiciest dish, but it is spicy. But then the numbing effect from the Szechuan peppercorn is supposed to tame the spice so that you can keep eating spicier food. But that's definitely a crowd favorite.
You have quite a history. Or where did you get all this knowledge? I mean, you're a Denver kid.
My parents are from Hong Kong. They've lived in Colorado for almost probably 40 years now. But we traveled back to Hong Kong, twice a year when I was a kid, because we still had family there. So I grew up pretty spoiled as far as, a food culture, and my parents cooked at home, 6 nights a week. And my dad was a very good cook because his mother was a great cook. So I grew up eating great food and around helping in the kitchen. But then also, just traveling and getting to experience other cuisines and getting to taste,
Because your food in every place is just not ordinary for whatever it's supposed to be.
It's funny because a lot of the profiles that we use are flavor profiles I grew up with, not necessarily the same dishes, but knowing this type of cuisine throughout my life, it's like, oh, I know this sauce is delicious and we can use it in different ways and different dishes. And so that's kind of the approach. But yeah, I mean, all of my chefs are not trained in Asian cooking for the
Oh,
most part.
the ones I know are not, and they're great guys
No,
and
but
very talented.
it's a lot of fun for them to, dive into a cuisine on this level where we're trying to execute things that are, quote unquote authentic or traditional. And
Now, I mean, going hopping from Hop Alley now to Uncle. I mean, same thing, because I sit at the bar there all the time and I watch these chefs. I don't know where you get the chefs who are so talented. And now with COVID, I mean, they say you can't hire anybody. And I see all these fabulous people.
yeah, we've been lucky on the staffing front. I mean, when COVID happened and the first shutdown was, they said 8 weeks, my mentality was like, well, we're going to have to reopen. So I'm going to try to keep as many employees as possible because I don't want to try to ramp that up. And, luckily we were busy enough doing takeout that I was able to hold down to, probably 85% of our staff. And, and then obviously 8 weeks in, it wasn't quite what everyone thought. And then,
will this never end is my question.
Right. But 18 months later, the whole time I still had the mentality of like, we're going to have to reopen at some point. And
I'm with you.
I'm going to try to hold on to the people that we can. So, and we got PPP loans, which helped a ton of paying our employees and all those things. So, luckily we came out of this, we could hit the ground running and not have to necessarily staff up tons. But, we still need a couple people at each restaurant. And
I don't get it. I just don't get it. But I'm trying, but I don't. So Uncle, we know there's one in the Highlands, and then there's Uncle on South Penn.
Yep. So the newer location is in West Wash Park on Pennsylvania and Bayard. There we opened, basically before COVID in the summer of 2019. It's a bigger restaurant. We have a bigger kitchen. So the goal there was to, take what we had learned at the original Uncle over the last 8 years and, try to apply it in a new way while keeping, the things that are very popular. So we kept about, 50% of the menu from the first Uncle and then did a, brand new menu for the other 50%. And then during COVID, we actually added Yakitori, which I love. And it's funny because the original idea for Hop Valley was going to be a Yakitori restaurant, and then that changed to a Chinese restaurant. But then one of my friends who was the chef, one of the opening chefs at Wolf's Taylor, his name's Sean May. He is one of the few people I know that knows how to butcher and cook yakitori in the traditional Japanese way. And he got furloughed from Wolf's Taylor, and we chatted and decided to hire him. And then we started doing this yakitori menu, which
I've not seen it. I've not had that.
So we do it Monday through Thursday. Only.
I'm out of luck tonight. I'm going tonight.
So you have to come back during the week. But he's basically the only one producing and cooking the yakitori. So if he's on vacation, we don't do it. And we're in the process of training more people to do it, but it's kind of it's not the easiest cuisine to cook and produce. So we rely on him a lot for it, but it's kind of our test to see if we can open a yakitori restaurant in the future.
Okay, explain what is yakitori.
So traditionally in Japan, it's skewered chicken cooked over charcoal.
Right.
At its highest level, yakitori places, they bring in whole chickens that have, feet, neck, heads,
not
everything.
In the United States. Yeah.
And and then you break it down. You break down the chickens in the way you would kind of break down a cow or a pig into its very specific parts. So
okay.
The skewers are the specific parts. So like you have a skin skewer, you have a heart skewer, you have a thigh skewer, you have a breast skewer, you have a Achilles skewer. So you're putting the focus on very specific parts of the chicken, and it's interesting because they all cook and eat differently. I mean, they all obviously, taste.
Are people loving it?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we have a percentage of customers that will come just to eat yakitori because maybe they've had it before. But for a large percentage of our customer base, it's like something completely new. So it takes a bit of coaxing and education.
Well, I mean, frankly, yeah. I mean, if you said chicken, fine, but when you get to the Achilles or something, somebody would. I'm from Missouri. You'd have to show me.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you go to a restaurant, most of the times you're probably ordering like half a roast chicken or something, and you're just eating.
Not if I can help it. But.
Yeah, or you're eating a chicken breast or a quarter
Right.
chicken, and it's kind of like if you bought a rotisserie chicken from the store, but in yakitori, focusing on these very specific cuts, it makes it much more interesting and kind of enlightening because you really get to say, oh, like a properly cooked chicken breast tastes great. Chicken skin when it's cooked slowly with charcoal,
delicious.
yeah, delicious. So,
oh, but that sounds divine.
but our yakitori menu is not just chicken. We also, we have like a miso cod. We have some vegetables. We have a pork belly skewer.
Oh wow!
So
well, I guess I have to go again.
Yeah, you got to come during the week.
What restaurant are you at now?
Right now, I'm in the Highlands.
Okay.
I live in the Highlands, so it's easier to come over here.
Because I can see the background. Okay, but at Uncle, you have incredible ramen. Your curry is wonderful. Your cold noodles even are fabulous. I don't like them most places. That I adore them here, but I could live and die by the buns.
Oh, you're a bun eater. Yeah, it's funny because we've always had steamed buns on the menu, and they have a very long tradition in Chinese cuisine, and they've become popular in all types of restaurants. You might see a bun at a New American Place or whatnot.
Yeah, but they don't taste like yours.
Yeah, I mean that we try to differentiate ourselves by first, the bun itself. We used to when you first started coming to Uncle in the Highlands, we were actually making the buns in house.
You're right.
And it was, we made a very good product, but the restaurant being so small, it was difficult to keep up when we got busier. So then I started sourcing the buns from a family friend who had a Chinese dim sum restaurant in Denver. They got sick of making them over 4 years. So then I had to source them somewhere else. We started using a bakery actually based out of New Jersey that a purveyor was getting for us. And that kind of became unsustainable. So now we use another bakery that imports a bun that's, it's very good. It's not, as good as when we were making them ourselves, but as far as a sustainable, process and product, it works very well. But then, yeah, I mean, we try to keep the flavors fun and maybe not your traditional offerings, but yeah, I mean, everyone loves them. They're delicious.
Oh, they're fat. Well, yeah.
I love them.
Which one do I want on which day? And your dumplings are great. And one of my friends had the short ribs the other night.
Oh, the short rib Penang curry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a delicious dish.
So.
But yeah, we actually this curry menu that we do at Uncle in Wash Park kind of stemmed from ramen not being a very gluten-friendly item. So we would get a good number of gluten-free or celiac customers, and they couldn't eat our ramen and they can't eat soy sauce. So upon opening, this larger location, we said, how do we try to appeal to these people, or the gluten-free people crowd?
Right.
And we decided on Thai curry because we love Thai food, and and most of it is, by nature gluten-free because you're not using a lot of soy sauce and a lot of it is rice based. So that's how we decided on this curry menu. And unfortunately, during COVID, we got rid of some of the curries because they were seafood based, and we were only doing takeout, so it didn't make sense to sell mussels to go or whatever.
Sure.
But now we're trying to bring some of them back. But yeah, I mean, I went to Thailand on my honeymoon, so I got to eat at a lot of great places in Thailand, and had a new appreciation for Thai food, and that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish as far as.
That was one of my last trips as well.
Yeah.
Before this whole mess.
It's an amazing place.
We ate at a restaurant, Gagan. Did you eat there, or was it closed?
No, we didn't. I know of it, but we did not. That's amazing that you went there.
Oh, yeah.
It's 2 Michelin stars?
Yeah. And the menu was 25 emojis.
That's fun.
And no food. They didn't tell you what it was.
It was just how you were supposed to feel. And
until you were done. And someday I'll tell you about it. But I think it's closed, the big one now anyway. But would much rather talk about Uncle, which is actually incredible. It is affordable. It is great. The service is fun. They're just great places, as is Hot Valley. You've just done a great job. Tell me, and go ahead.
No, I was going to say that was kind of my goal in opening the restaurants was, mirroring how you dine in Asia on a daily basis. You have, hopefully exceptional food, but then it's very, very casual. It could be, you could be eating on the street. You could be eating in a dim sum parlor or just.
Yes, and it's wonderful.
So.
But I'm talking about you right now, not Asia. I'm talking about, you don't have to get on a plane. You don't have to go worry about that. Just come on down. Give us the hours and the days and how to get to both places.
Currently, our hours are a little different. But Hop Alley, we're open Monday through Saturday, closed on Sundays, 5 to 10 p.m. Uncle in the Highlands, Monday through Saturday, 5 to 9 p.m., closed on Sundays. And then Uncle in West Wash Park, Monday through Saturday, Monday through Thursday, 5 to 9:30, and then on Friday, Saturday, we're open till 10.
So technically, all of them are open every day except Sunday.
Correct. During the week at Uncle, Monday through Thursday, the hours are a little shorter.
Well, that's fine, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, we used to be open 5 to 10 every night, but we kind of, during COVID, we curtailed our hours, and we just stuck with
that works. Yeah, and you've never done lunch that I remember.
Yeah, we never have.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, well, I never had the intention, and also the restaurants are all pretty small, and we don't have the space to be able to open for lunch.
And there's a lot of work. I mean, just if people would just go watch and see what goes on there, it is
organized chaos.
No, it isn't. They're great. I mean, I watch all those guys and I figure, how in the world do you know who's doing what where as they're cooking? But
yeah, that's part of the fun is we have open kitchens and you can kind of, see the background of what's going on. And
so nobody can have a fist fight. They just have to really be good.
We have to be well behaved and we can't yell at each other.
Well, I think you're a fabulous boss from what I've seen. But you are doing a wonderful job. And I just can't say enough about both Hop Alley and Uncle Ramen in 2 locations. You're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
And everybody else, please like and subscribe to The Gabb on YouTube. You'll see this on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, anytime. And I'll be there, so I hope to see you all at Uncle and Hop Alley. We love you, Tommy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gabby.
And congratulations on the baby.
Oh, thanks.
Give him a kiss for me.
I will.
Much love. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.